Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I kind of wanted to talk to you about what every homeschool mom should have. Now, take that title lightly. So this is basically what I think that myself as a homeschooling mom needs in her homeschool to help her get through every day and every year. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this video. That I'm going to mention is a good support system. Now, this doesn't matter if it's your spouse, your parents, your siblings, friends, people from church, different support groups. I mean, you can honestly just have support groups on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, just somebody that will instill goodness in you about homeschool, or somebody that you can reflect off of what's going on in your homeschool, or, you know, like here on YouTube, you can watch and listen to other homeschooling moms that are going through the same exact thing so that you don't feel quite alone. You can get advice because homeschooling is forever changing in everyone's home. So something that I started 5 years ago in our homeschool room may not necessarily still be working. So I do want to say having my husband, having my family, having my sister, and even here on YouTube, I have channels that I like to watch and different moms that talk about things that really speak to me as a homeschooling mom. So I think having that support system is definitely a key component in homeschooling. The second thing I'm going to share is having a good attitude. Now, I know that we cannot always have a good attitude. I mean, we have days where we're tired, where we're grumpy, things aren't going right, life is crazy, things are going on in different places in our lives other than just our homeschool. So I know having a good attitude every single day is, you know, that's just not going to happen. But trying, at least, you know, trying what you can do to bring a good attitude into your homeschool, because your kids will definitely feed off of your energy. So if you're coming in grumpy or upset, it's definitely going to rub off on your kids as well. If you can find something that kind of brings you into a good mood, if that is maybe waking up earlier than your kids, going to bed earlier and having more sleep, waking up and doing a devotional, reading your Bible, reading a book, listening to music, even if you know something that helps your kids in the morning, that's super helpful. Say, you know, doing morning basket, or reading a read aloud first thing in the morning, or reading a couple verses in the Bible, or listening to worship music as you eat, or just having a discussion with the kids, or anything that you know is going to help your homeschool room for that day. I would definitely try to start that as like your morning routine. So moving on to number 3, this one's kind of funny because I haven't really been following my own advice. So this one is having a planner or a notebook. It doesn't matter how you're writing it down or keeping track of it, but having something to kind of keep you on track is definitely a great thing to have when you're homeschooling. I am somebody that loves to schedule. I love having a plan. I love having everything written out. It helps me just to kind of set myself up for what needs to be done. And I'm super forgetful, so writing everything down really helps me. I will say the last few months have been kind of tough on me. I'm not sure if you watched my Wrap With Me video, but I talk a little bit about that and how things have changed in our homeschool. And that's definitely something that has changed. Now, I still write things down in my planner. I wasn't planning out like a whole week in advance. I'd kind of go like day to day because we were just so all over the place with homeschool. But I would definitely say try to keep track or plan out what you can, just to kind of help you stay sane. Do what works for you. You can always use a notebook. You could just write it on a piece of paper. You can keep track in a planner, however it works for you, but just kind of having some type of log to keep you grounded, to keep you remembering, you know, stuff like that. So I would say a planner or a notebook to keep track. Number 4 is definitely something that I think every homeschool needs, is a printer. Now, I'm not talking you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a printer. Just, you know, a cheaper printer works. I actually have a it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive, and it works well. I'm okay with it. I just buy like a higher grade of paper when I'm doing our workbooks, and it works perfectly. But I'm forever, well, for me, I have to have a printer because I do a lot of our own unit studies. I make up our own workbooks. I'm constantly printing out stuff. I print out stuff for myself. So, you know, I definitely need a printer, but I think most homeschools do because all of us print something out at some time. So having a printer, that's wonderful. And trying to get nice paper really helps if you're doing workbooks. We use a 32-pound paper when I do workbooks, and it looks so much nicer. So number 5 would be something that encourages you. If that's books, podcasts, YouTube videos. Let's see, what else did I write down? Basically, that's it. But anything for mom or kids or dad or kids, whoever's leading the homeschool class. So it just depends. I mean, it kind of goes back to having a good support system, someone that encourages you, something that you can find motivation, or kind of having a different outlook on things, seeing it through someone else's eyes, but kind of knowing that that's kind of where your homeschool's at, if that makes sense. But just to kind of help you feel grounded and normal, that you're not the only one going through the things that you go through in your homeschool room. I know it can feel secluding sometimes and kind of like you're on your own and going through the motions on your own, but you're really not. There's so many of us out here that are doing the same thing that you are. Okay, so number 6, going back to something that I think every homeschool needs, but you definitely don't, but I would say a laminator. Now, if you're one that puts things together, that likes to, you know, create things, I would definitely say a laminator, especially if you are in like having kids that are younger, preschool age, kindergarten, and you have multiple kids and you plan on homeschooling them. There is a lot of things that you can laminate just so that it lasts. Then you don't have to print things out the same like a couple years later. You just already have everything ready for your kiddos. That's what I did with my daughter, and I used a lot of it for my niece and for my son. And I actually passed some of that on to one of my closest friends so that she could use it for her baby. But just, you know, having a laminator will definitely keep things more intact and together. So I love my laminator, you guys. It's been going strong for 5 years, 6 years, I think, actually. So that thing has been hanging on for dear life. The last thing I'm going to say is a binding system. Now, you do not need a Pro Click. You don't need a spiral binding machine. What are some of the other ones? A comb binding machine, a wire binding. You don't need anything super fancy. Just something that you can put things together just to keep those loose papers intact together so things aren't floating everywhere. You're not losing things. So you can use, let's see, binders, folders. You could do the ones with the little prongs in the folders, the 3-ring prongs or whatever, so that you can put them in there. You can even use clamps or brackets. You could get those little O-rings or whatever they're called, just to kind of keep everything together. You can use pouches, just something that you can keep everything together so you're not having stuff floating around everywhere. But I think that that's it. So I have 7 items that I feel like I need in my homeschool room, and I hope that some of these helped you guys out. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful new year, and I will see you guys very soon. All right, be safe, be blessed. Bye, you guys.